Hi guys, welcome back to Ladies in Red. We are back with another episode of Ladies in Red, and as you can see already on the screen, we've got a special guest today with Kendall. Kendall, I'll start with you. Thank you so much for taking the time to join us tonight. How are you doing?
No, thank you for having me once again. I always love coming on, but yeah, I'm all right. Just a bit, I think I probably speak for everyone, just a bit deflated today, but it is what it is, Well, as you said, Sophie, now we're going to hear it's coming home again, hopefully. So
Please no. Honestly, that song is cursed. It's coming home. Them words need to be banned forever. Like, need to be censored out on Twitter and everything like that. Get rid of it. Banned. It's a bit like the S word when we had the Sancho obviously story going on, and we were sick of hearing the word Sancho. It's coming home is like that for me. It's just cursed, and yeah, I'm tired of it. But yeah, deflated, I think, is the word that summarises probably most of the people in England right now after yesterday. Nat's always the one for positive energy, so I'm going to go to Nat. Nat, how are you feeling after yesterday? Because you always find the positives.
I do feel a bit like deflated, but I think let's look at it. We never even expected to get this far. The fact that we did, you need to look at it positively. There's loads of young players. There's players that can still have another tournament. The World Cup's coming up. I think that'll be an even bigger one. And what? I know you say it's coming home. You don't like the words. I don't really like it. But you know which song I absolutely love? The Atomic Kitten one. I love that. I listen to that just chilling in my house. So
I can imagine you.
Best song that we've ever had. I will say that.
I can imagine you like your AirPods in while you're cleaning at home or something, like looking back on where we were.
Mate, all the time. I love that song. Let's get more like Mystique or who's the one?
Sugar Babes.
Sugar Babes. Sugar Babes. Them football songs. I really liked it.
Like you should invent some, mate. You're creative. Just do your own. Barmy Army Chants and all that. You can do it, definitely.
Yeah.
Bring up to Lone Star. So this England squad has a lot to be positive about. Did the country proud, and despite the heartbreaking loss, we can look forward to the World Cup as a major contender. I'm going to get on to Meg. Meg, obviously, you've just put in the chat there. Be kind, and I stand by that. Firstly, how are you doing? How are you feeling after yesterday? Obviously, we were messaging and we were both just distraught last night. Let's be honest. But how are you feeling today?
The girls summed it up like deflated. I think I was probably the only person to have gone somewhere that literally had no signal and I could barely use the Wi-Fi. So I literally could not get hold of anybody. Normally, Sophie and I are like back and forward throughout games. But listen, tonight I am literally I'm here to give the players the recognition and the credit that they deserve for what they've done in the last 4+ weeks. Like their football, they're just on the pitch and they're off the pitch activities. Like, this squad is something else. It's so special. I love this team. I don't think we'll ever have a squad like it again. But all here for the credit and recognition for them tonight.
I think I honestly say this is the first England team that I've actually liked. Obviously, there's been individuals in teams and that, but as an actual team, this is the first one I've actually liked genuinely. And I think that's why I was so gutted, because I think you see the clips on Twitter from England that have been posting, like it seems like a happy camp, seeing them on the unicorns and whatnot, and it's just been positive vibes, hasn't it? And I think you could see how gutted they all were, the players yesterday, and I think it was just heartbreaking, really. But I'm going to say this now, and I think we should get into it. For me, England as a team deserve to win the Euros, but as a country, we don't deserve to win anything. And I'm going to say that right now, bluntly. That's my feeling. Kendall, I'll start with you. You said obviously you tried to avoid, you think to get rid of socials because it's just been people arguing and whatnot. But do you think it is simply the case that we've got a country of bad losers?
I think that's part of it. I think a lot of people, I did see today, I can't remember who it was now, but someone said like that they're English, but they feel like they don't want to support England because they don't want to support like the institution of England rather than like the team. They support the team, but not like the institution, which I categorically agree with. Like, it's just a massive shame that, because I think probably I can speak on behalf of myself. I know I've seen a couple of comments today on social media that after the missed penalties, the first thing that a lot of people thought of was the abuse that was going to occur afterwards, and that should just not be something that is in anybody's head. Like, you should not, the first thing you think of should not be, oh no, they're going to get abused now. Like, why are we at that stage? Why can't that togetherness that we saw that from the team, from different races, different backgrounds, different areas of the country, why can't that be brought into the country, irregardless of whether there's a football tournament going on? Why can't that be the constant mood? It's such a shame that we just have to show ourselves up every single time, like it's not even just racial abuse. It's the violence that goes on, you know, the hooliganism that continues afterwards, whether we win or lose. It's just so sad. And it really is a massive shame that we have to even consider that that's going to be the first thing that happens.
Yeah, Nicole, big up to Nicole, couldn't join us today, obviously, unfortunately, but she's going to be back, don't worry. I hope you're feeling better, Nicole. I hope you're doing well. But she said, for me, the younger players didn't let us down, but some of the fans over did. And I think the word some there is key as well. I think this is why I feel so offended by it as well, is because it's not all England fans, it's not everybody, but that is the persona that people get, especially on social media when you see stuff like that. I mean, if you saw the atmosphere early on in the day, it was positive, it was good ethos, but like I say, we lose and then it turns sour and it turns nasty, and we've seen like the racism. And that was the first thought for everybody. When you saw the 3 players who missed the penalties, everyone's first thought was, oh, God, what's going to happen now on social media? And like you say, that should not be the case, is it? I want to sit here today and I want to, like Meg said, focus on the positives and focus on the fact that this team has done better than, in our generation, any team has done in the past. 55 years we've got to a final, and to not lose in the whole tournament and still not come out as winners, like, how unlucky is that? Do you know what I mean? So I think they can hold their heads up high. I mean, Nat, I'm guessing you watched the game yesterday. Luke Shaw, again, focusing on the positives. What a tournament he's had, what a season he's had, and just for him to score the opening goal, I just wish that could have been the winner, because that would have topped it right off. But how good has he been, Nat?
Oh, he's been different class. I think when this start of this season, we were talking and people were like, oh, Shaw's past it, this and that. And I think when Tellers came in, it was, Tellers is going to be our number one. And the way Luke Shaw's just risen to the occasion, and I was so proud when he scored that. I thought, yes, like I thought, Jose, where you at now? And I just started singing that song, and you know, Jose said Luke Shaw was shite. Sorry, I know I'm swearing, but
no, he's dynamite. I'm not swearing, but
now he's dynamite. You know, I just thought of that song, and I just, if anyone deserves it, it's him. All that he's done, all that, you know, he's been through, his broken leg, coming back.
Yeah.
Criticism from Jose about being overweight, and Louis van Gaal as well, the same. It's just what he deserves, and you know, happy birthday to him. And obviously, you know, I bet it would have been even better birthday if that was the winner. Like I said, 55 years, Luke Shaw has scored.
I'm pushing for him. And what a finish as well.
Quickest goal as well. I read it was the quickest goal. So, and it was a good goal. It was a good build up. It was good. Everything. It was what we've loved and what we've enjoyed to see throughout this tournament, the way England have been playing. For me, though, as well, what Kendall just said about the whole abuse and the violence, I was watching it out in Manchester City Centre, and I've never seen people, I think it's maybe drinking all day and we've been locked up. I don't know what it is, but some people, they're just disgrace. Because it wasn't like that when I watched it in the same place for the semi-final. It was all right, it was calm. But I just think people have been drinking all day, lockdown, all that kind of thing. And I love a good drink. I am the first one off here Friday. I'm out and about. You know, we had a few bottles of Prosecco, drinking it while watching it. But then it's just people swinging punches, and it's just not needed at all. Yeah. And then obviously, you know, the racism thing, you know what I think about it. I'm really vocal on it. I hate it. That is the first thing that I thought of. And it's going to take more taking a knee. It's going to take people taking a knee even more. So people who are sitting there booing it and thinking, I'm going to boo it next season. Well, the more you boo it, the more we're going to see it. So either get on board, get behind the lads, whether it's black, white, Asian, get behind them properly.
I completely agree. Shivan said that Saka being abused is an absolute disgrace, though. He has done bits for the tournament. FX rolling that and saying that.
Go back again. Start again.
Am I freezing?
Completely froze. And I was checking to see if Nat and Kendall moved, whether it was That was a little scratch of the throw, and I was like, okay, it's not on.
I apologise if I spoke over anyone then, and I didn't.
No, you didn't. We waited to see, but go read that again and go with what you were saying.
Saka being abused is absolutely disgrace, though. He's done bits in the tournament. Saka obviously took the last penalty, whether he volunteered or what. Obviously, we don't know the full situation, but in my eyes, no one's to blame in this situation. Penalties for me is just luck of the draw. It's just pot luck. Saka obviously felt confident enough to take one. I'm not looking down on any other players for not taking it or whatnot. I think Southgate decided the order look, you don't miss a penalty on purpose. Like, do you know, I just don't agree with the abuse. He's a young lad. He had the balls to step up and take it, and I think we need to respect him for that and not ridicule him for it. And the same for Sancho and Rashford as well. The Sancho and Rashford one is interesting, Meg, because for me, if you're brought on the pitch literally just to take a penalty, not had a touch of the ball, most players, it takes them a bit to settle into a game, especially when you've got an atmosphere like down is tense. Like, players have a touch on the ball, they get their first touch out the way, they build a bit of confidence, get used to the atmosphere. Rashford and Sancho have come on the pitch and their first touch is to take that penalty. Now, I'm not being funny, like, they haven't had any time to settle into it. Like, I think that's a bit of a daunting thing as well. Don't get me wrong, the penalties were poor, but I do think like that was a lot of pressure to put on their shoulders when they've not even been kicked the ball as well. Meg, what was your thoughts on it?
I think it is, and I can understand also why Southgate has done it though, because one of the particular reasons I love this team is because of the balance between that kind of experienced player and the kind of young raw talent that we have within this England squad as well. But you look at Rashford, and whilst he is young, he is one of the most senior players. You know, he's captained England, plays Manchester United, takes penalties for Manchester United. And I think you look at the team that was out there and you look perhaps who's on your bench. Now you would say that Rashford needs to go on and take a penalty. For me, I would say you put Rashford on to take a penalty. So I understand the whole the Rashford sub. They were stood on the side for a while. And at one point, I actually wondered whether they would get on because Italy got the ball and it looked like they were just pinging it around, avoiding going out of play. I think all the subs had have done everything slightly earlier. That's in the 90-minute game as well. But the Sancho one, that was the one for me that didn't make as much sense. Rashford, I completely get, and I'm absolutely good. The whole penalty thing. So for now, we're just talking off screen. If Saka has been obviously you're going to practice them. Tournament football, you practice penalties. It's in there. Whether you just incorporate that into training. Saka might have took 100 penalties in training and scored the majority of them. Could be absolutely flying high on confidence and taking penalties. And everyone's saying Sterling and Grealish should have taken one. But what if Sterling has just ran so much? What if he was tired? He hadn't really been converting in training. Confidence was low. And then you've got Saka who, fresher legs. You know, Saka's saying that I want to take one. I know Grealish has come out and said that he wanted one as well. We don't know what happens behind closed doors. And I think it's very difficult as a fan. And I've seen so much of it. Sterling and Grealish should have taken them. But we don't know. We weren't there. Yeah.
I think what I would say about Sterling as well is like his penalty taking isn't known to be one of his better abilities. And if he's not confident, I mean, Southgate's going to lose-lose. If Southgate says to Sterling, do you want to take a penalty? And he says, no, I don't feel confident. And he makes him take it anyway and he misses, again, he's lost, isn't he? So I think Sterling obviously didn't feel comfortable to take it. I'm not begrudging Sterling for that. I'm not a good penalty taker and I would be apprehensive about taking it as well. And if Saka's saying I'm confident to take it, then obviously Southgate has trusted that. And I'm not knocking Saka because, like I say, it shows balls to step up and do that. And I think we have to respect it. But like you said, Meg, we don't know what happens behind closed doors. Sorry, Meg.
On this, before we move on to the chat that's come in, Tom Brownbridge has put Maguire amazing all tournament, best pen I've seen as well.
His penalty.
I have to just add in about his penalty because there's a lot of talk in this tournament about centre halves taking penalties. And when he did step up, I thought, oh my goodness me, my heart was going. And this guy, you know, he's been a scapegoat for Manchester United fans. He has been. I feel for him, but he has completely come out of his shell in this tournament and put respect on his name, and then he smashes it in the top bins.
He broke the camera.
It was a phenomenal penalty to do it in that kind of style in that moment. Fair play to him. Last comment I wanted to say on the penalties.
It's all right. Thank you, Chris, so much for the super chat. Says I think the players have done well in the tournament. Very proud, but I'm still concerned about Southgate and his tactics. Shaw was the best player. Shaw was our best player. Shaw's been outstanding, definitely. Kendall, what's your thoughts on tactically Southgate? My thoughts are when we started so well, obviously scored an early goal. I felt like if we would have kept that pressure on, we could have got a second. I felt like we were a bit too fast to kind of settle on that 1-0 and think we can protect it a bit too early. Italy are a good team, and I think it's always inevitable. It's a matter of time before they're going to break it down when it gets to that. That's my criticism of him. I don't know if you saw it the same.
Yeah, no, absolutely 100% agree. I feel like we did exactly the same as we did against Croatia in the World Cup and against Croatia in the first game. where we were intense for 20 minutes. The game plan seemed to be there. We seemed to be on the front foot. And then as soon as everything settled down, we just sat back again and invited them onto us. And I think from the second half onwards, I thought, everyone says, oh, you're not a football manager, whatever, like, trust Gareth Southgate, it's worked. Yes, I completely agree. And because we're not happy about, like, the game yesterday, doesn't mean that it takes away from anything that's happened in this tournament, because I think he's done an absolutely fantastic job to get us as far anyway. I think from the second half, it just was all wrong. Trippier seemed to be our most creative outlet from, like, literally minute one of the game. And it's not necessarily the fact that Saka was brought on, because I would have done that anyway, but it was the fact that Trippier was taken off, because after that we didn't have any, like, we were playing wide and that was working against them. That's how we got the goal. We were dragging them out wide, and then after that change was made, we just didn't do anything like that at all. I thought Mount was left on a little bit too long. How he got so long in the game is actually a massive surprise to me. So yeah, I think I completely agree with yourself. I think the tactics are just all wrong from second half onwards, and it didn't. We're sat here, people are arguing about penalties. We're upset about penalties, and it shouldn't have even had to get that far, because
100%.
we could have changed the game if things were done earlier and if things were done the right way. But hindsight's a wonderful thing, isn't it? And you can't always tell how things are going to go. But yeah, a massive, massive shame.
Yeah, it's a shame. Like, we're all disappointed, deflated is the word you used. Just gutted, because we've got such a good set of players, and I felt like obviously it's coming home. It's been ringing around now for it feels like forever. It's been 4 weeks or something. But yeah, I'm just gutted, absolutely gutted. And the manner that we went out as well, obviously penalties is the worst way to go. But I totally agree with Kendall. It shouldn't have got that far, in my opinion. Like, we should have dealt with it tactically better. We've got the personnel to deal with it better. But Italy and that deserve credit, don't they, as well, for the way they came back into it, their mindset. Look, we know their mentality, they're absolute beasts, and I think, like, Bonucci, Chiellini, they've got characters in their squad that obviously lifted. Their half-time came at the right time. You could see the way they came at that second half. And we never really coped with them in that second half. I do think in extra time we kind of grew back into it. But again, that's where I would have brought the likes of Sancho on a lot earlier to run at them while they were tiring them. For me, the subs were just a bit too delayed. Would you agree with that, Nat?
Yeah, 100%. And I think, for me, Southgate, he's like, I don't think any other managers potentially would have got us there. Southgate, the way he's galvanised this team, you've got to give him credit. But like you said, it is these little things. It's not the first time, I think even versus Denmark, we were on top. Well, we came back into it, and then we could have potentially won it in 90 minutes. But obviously we sort of looked just passing it around, not really doing much. And then obviously this game, it's just sort of like, we're 1-0 up now, right? That's it, guys. Shut up shop. And I think when you do that against a team like Italy, you're going to get punished. And that's what they did. I mean, they had a lot more chances as well in the extra time. But yeah, I think we could have come back. I think if we had, been a bit more aggressive with it, who knows? And maybe that's something, and I was seeing a comment saying, it happened in the World Cup, now it's happening now. And maybe that's something where he needs to improve on. I know he said he wants to take them for the next World Cup. For me, yeah, I'm behind it. But let's sort of, I don't know, maybe have different coaches in who will push him to be a bit more attacking, especially when you're at that point where, for me, like what was said, down the wings, that's where we're getting all the joy. Keep going, bring Sancho on earlier, bring Rashford on earlier, and, really go at them. And then maybe get that 2-1. So for me, I know like that they got all the abuse about the penalties and people go on about penalties, but like you said, it shouldn't have even got to that point. And I think that's what a lot of sensible football fans are saying. Why is it really got to that point? We should have, we were aggressive, we were on top, we should have looked and got the, second goal even before half time. And, if you go into that half 2-0 up, for me, then you can think about sitting back, but not when it's just 1-1, 1-0, looking to defend. No, I think you sort of like, I'm not trying to trigger United fans, but it's sort of like our final, But Rashford scored that.
That's why I'm so hurt, I think. I think it brought you back to deja vu all over. It just killed me. All he needed was Pickford, obviously. Pickford, by the way, I'm going to talk to him. He did his job. Saving that many penalties you expect to come out as winner. He's really unlucky. He did his job. There's a few decisions in the game as well that are questionable, should we say. So there was a Jorginho one, which I think he was very lucky that he hit the ball first, where he's when he stood first on Grealish, obviously hit him on the upper thigh. And there's the Chiellini one. I read someone put on Twitter, Wikipedia said that he's got a strangling fetish. Well, that sure came out against Saka. I mean, Meg, I ask you first on that one. do you think that there should have been a red card for Italy out of any of them two challenges, or did the ref get it right?
It's difficult because as an England fan, I'd have liked to see them walk. But as a neutral football kind of involved in football, you wouldn't say it was a red card. It's difficult because I think the Chiellini one, especially further down the pitch, you've got more of a discussion about yellow or red. I think because of where it was, and more so for me, I think we see it all before. We've seen it before about tactical fouls.
Yeah,
it was in his pure face and like his intention. He knew what he was doing. He was grabbing that collar, and I think obviously it looks a lot worse than it is. I think if he grabs the back of his shirt, it's nowhere near a discussion of a red card. But I think it's because it's the neck that it becomes a bit more of a discussion. For me, the intent was disgusting. But the Jorginho one, he's lucky that he's got the ball first, studs up, but a yellow card.
Yeah.
I think.
I agree with this. Big up to Pickford. He had a great tournament. Oliver Villa says there, hats off to him for a fantastic tournament in general. Still like the way he casually said no problem. I don't know if you girls saw that.
Yeah.
No problem. I loved it. I literally said before the shootout, I was like, come on, Pickford, be a nutcase, because he's an absolute nutcase. And I just thought, just put him off. Like, it's just crazy. But for England, I think he's been superb. Everton, questionable. But on an international scale, I think he's been he was a bit shaky against Denmark with his distribution. I think he's one of these where he'll do one thing and his head kind of drops, and he kind of needs to compose himself again. Like he kind of, I don't know, he'll make one little mistake and it'll kind of throw him off.
All he needs to do is just breathe in and out before he makes a decision and go for it. Because sometimes he's just kind of like what's the word? Like he's just doesn't. Yeah. He's too eager. Yeah. Like he jumps into something. Like when he's kicking, he'll just do it without just taking a step back. Breathing in and just assessing the situation and going for it, and that's where like his problem is. I think that's my only negative of this whole tournament. I think if he's just an unsung hero for me, how good he has really been this whole tournament. But the only negative thing for me is that his distribution when he's kicking is quite poor, and I think it's just because he is just so eager to get it done. He's just like fiery, like he's just instantly does things, and he just needs to take a little bit of a step back. But maybe that'll just come with this whole thing. Maybe he'll learn from that. But yeah, I think he's been really, really, really good this time.
I've never seen a keeper kick the ball like Pickford. He's like in the air when he kicks it. His whole body launches forward. Like I know we're saying like he's rationally eager. Like that guy, when you talk about put your foot through the ball, he's got a ping.
He's got a ping.
Through the ball, like when you like go bowling and your arm goes with you, and it's like that's what I feel like Pickford. Like when he's kicking it, his whole body goes with him. Brilliant.
Apparently,
great guy.
He was next to take a penalty. I don't know who tweeted it.
Yeah, I saw that. Apparently, was.
No, I actually don't mind that though, because like you say, I think he's got a sweet left foot and he's got a ping on him. If he misses, I mind it. Don't get me wrong, but like I can kind of see the logic behind it. But not headed for you.
He'd be in the net with him, with the ball. Like I just said,
I don't care.
Will go with it.
He'll just be pulling mad faces and putting Donnarumma off. You want to be looking at the ball. He's just a nutcase, but I do think he's been great for England. I'm Blue said Jorginho got the ball and was unfortunate that his foot slipped on the ball. If he didn't touch the ball, then I think that he'd been in trouble. And I think the fact that he obviously made clear contact with the ball first, that's why it was just the yellow. And then Saka was only a yellow. He pulled this shirt, nothing unusual. I think it's like Meg said, it's the manner of how high he pulled this shirt, wasn't it? Like there's definitely no way was he going for the ball there. He just wanted to wipe Saka out. But because he was so far away from the goal, I do think that's why, again, it was a yellow card. But it definitely could have been looked at. I will say it could have been looked at. And VAR, you never know nowadays, do you? But reminds me of the Danielson red card for Sweden. He made every effort to get the ball and got it, even though he had contact. It was bad. Afterwards was bad, but it's not already the intention to get the ball. Exactly. If you get the ball first, for me, it's not a red card. But as England fans, of course, we're all screaming red card because we're football fans and we're fickle. We know how it works. Joseph said, head up, guys. On the way up is the English team. Thank you so much, Joseph. And hopefully you're right. Obviously, World Cup coming up. I mean, Kendall, obviously, I know you said we feel deflated and whatnot, but do you think there's plenty of positives for us England fans to be looking forward to for the World Cup?
100%. I think we have the main thing for me is the foundation of like the bond that they've got between them as a team. Like a lot of the time, I feel in the past, like especially the early 2000s and stuff, I feel like club rivalries, and I've read several articles and seen different interviews in the past of where club rivalries got in the way of them playing together as like a cohesive unit in terms of like a unity, you know, friendships, things like that. But I think this is completely different this time round. I think they're genuinely friends. Like the way Luke Shaw was speaking about Saka, it was like, he was like, I wish he was my kid. Like that's how literally close they are. So I think, you know, like that for me is so important. So that is something that you can definitely build on. The talent that we've got in the squad depth that we have now is better than, I'm 26 and it's probably better than I've ever seen in my lifetime. Like the actual depth of the team that we have, because yes, in the early 2000s, you know, up front we had the likes of Owen, Rooney, things like that. But then we had like, who would it have been up front? Like
Heskey.
Yeah. Do you know what I mean? So like not rubbish, but he's just not on the level of like the depth that we have now, because the quality is so equally spread out through the team. And when you're making subs, you're not like, oh, like, do you know what I mean? Like that's not like a last resort. You're kind of like, yes, we're leaving subs to bring on. And I really thought that was going to do well in the final, but absolutely something to work on. Obviously, there is only a little amount of time. Normally, there will be 2 years. There's only a year now between this and the World Cup next year. So there's a really good window to have, you know, frequently work on. It's absolutely brilliant. And I really do think that we can do well.
Yeah, I completely agree. I think that on the whole, we've got to feel positive. Like I say, we got to a semi-final, we now got to a final, and I'm sure we'll be thinking now, World Cup, we want to get that trophy. And we have got to see it as progress. But obviously, once you get to a final at Wembley as well, it's a once-in-a-lifetime opportunity, and you're thinking, that's it, it's actually coming home. I'm saying it again. I've got to stop saying it. But we're saying it's coming home, and then obviously to lose on penalties like that, it is heartbreaking. But Nat, how would you say you're feeling looking ahead to the World Cup after seeing this tournament?
Excited. I think, you know, Sancho, Bellingham, Grealish, they're all young guys. Rice, young. The Chelsea, I forget his name, the Chelsea boy, young. Even Maguire probably got like going to be at the peak of his powers.
Yeah.
For me, I think it's just, you know, I'm looking forward to see a lot more of Reece James. You know, the players are coming through, and it's like what Kendall just said, that depth. We've got so many players that are going to come through, that are going to, you know, have that tournament experience. You know, we're all upset for Saka, but he's 19. You know, but he's got the world ahead of him, and
exactly,
he can be what he wants to be. And I think this unity that they have is only going to become stronger through this. And you know, they got to the semi-final, now they've got to the final. So in the World Cup, why can't they go and win it? You know, and then we'll hear, oh, it's coming home again. And the way that it did galvanise us, even though, we knew, you know, what would happen when they did lose, unfortunately. But, you know, I think it's going to lead to some kind of, I don't know, to change. You know, I think it's going to lead to a change. People want to see change. People want it to be, this country to be better. They've seen it for that little small period. So why can't we have it all the time, whether football's on or not, you know? So, you know, I hope it brings that vibe back, but hopefully we get it now for good.
Yeah, and obviously, to be fair, we're saying here at home at Wembley, it's the biggest ever advantage that we've had and whatnot, and it was our time. But maybe the pressure of being at home as well got a bit too much. You don't know, do you? Like, maybe being away from home could be a beneficiary, but we'll see obviously in the World Cup. But I do think that also adds pressure as well. As much as it's a nice comfort and whatnot, I do think like there was a lot of pressure on these players, and especially when it gets to a penalty shootout. Like, I do feel confident because I think the personnel that we've got and the ages that they're at as well, I think everyone, it's like our golden generation now. Like, everyone's at the right age. Players like Bellingham have barely featured, who I'm pretty sure will grow and feature more in the World Cup. It is exciting times, isn't it? Cantona said, I agree with Kendall, the foundation is the most important, the bond. Last decade, we had situations where the players bringing club rivalry into the England squad. Yeah, I mean, I was talking to my cousin yesterday, and he told me about, I think it was Lampard, who said that in the past they weren't as successful because you had like a Chelsea table, a Man United table, a City table when people were eating food. It was very cliquey. Whereas now, like Kendall said earlier, everyone is genuine friends, everyone is together, everyone is united. And Southgate deserves a lot of credit for that as well. Who else could get away with bringing Grealish on and then taking him off not long after? He has, and he seems to have got the balance right. I know Grealish has come out and done a few tweets today, but he has said in that tweet that Southgate has made some good decisions. And I think that just shows like the squad is in a good place. And yeah, we've got to look forward to the World Cup, definitely. Thoughts on Donnarumma winning play of the tournament? What I will say is when it came to penalties, with Donnarumma in goal, I was not confident in the slightest, and I think that's a big credit to him. Did you girls see celebration, by the way, or lack of celebration, should I say, when they'd won the Euros? He literally just got up and just walked away, and then all the players come running over to him, like so straight face. I was like, the audacity.
I think they all looked around to start like, is that it?
He was just walking.
Actually won. I don't even know if they actually knew that they'd won it on that penalty. I think for this comment in particular, they said that no team's ever won 2 penalty shootouts in the Euros.
Yeah.
One of those penalty shootouts obviously has won them the whole thing, and he was a massive part of that. You know, he saved the penalties. He has been a really good player for Italy. They've obviously gone on and won the whole thing. So I would say he would be in there. I did see the thing there, and you know, you've got to look at Pickford as well. And we're going to talk about goalkeepers. Yeah, Pickford won the Golden Glove, conceded 2 goals in the whole tournament in normal time. But there's so many players that really shone. But
Sterling as well. We have to say Sterling.
Shaw, you know, these are just English players. Like with, you know, when we're putting them forward, and know that there are other players from other other countries that have shone for their particular country. But fair play to Donnarumma because he was outstanding.
Yeah, he has been outstanding, to be fair, and I think he's just gone to PSG as well. He's got his big move, hasn't he?
On a free.
Best in the world, people are saying.
On a free. How has he done that? He's so young as well.
Sure, Berto, people saying that. I mean, Kendall, from a Newcastle fan's point of view, obviously United fans have been raving about Shaw all season and saying that he's transformed me in particular. Like, I'm not afraid to say it. I've been on that Shaw bandwagon from the start. But I said the other day, you can laugh at me, but right now in current form, like I can't see a left back better than Luke Shaw in current form. Genuinely, in the world, like I can't see a better left back in current form. I'm not saying he's the best left back in the world, but I'm saying in current form, he's got to be mentioned up there. Like, he's been outstanding.
Yeah, do you know what? This season, I think the improvement that I've seen from him this season alone was incredible. And I'm so glad that he continued that form into the tournament because he was just outstanding this whole tournament. He's obviously one of the players of the tournament for me, definitely up there for a shout, along with, you know, Maguire, who is another Man United player. And I just think that the way he has come back, even prior to this, you know, he came back from a serious injury. He has gone through a lot of, you know, mental struggles because obviously Jose Mourinho, the whole obese situation, and he has come through a lot to get to the point where he's at now, and he is still quite young, so he's still got you know, to come to his peak. So yeah, for me, I think he's been incredible, and I do tend to agree with you. Like, off the top of your head, if you're really thinking about it and you're pressured for an answer, you can't actually think of a left back who is as good as him. Not, can you please stop that? Who is as good as him right now? So yeah, clearly she doesn't want me to have my shine in the camera.
I think she disagrees about Luke Shaw.
Maybe she is.
Luke Shaw's not the best in the world. That's what she's saying. But yeah, Nat, we mentioned Maguire, his penalty, and I know we're being very United biased, but I think Shaw said it there. Doug said it there as well. Obviously, Calvin Phillips, I think, deserves a lot of special mentions as well. Calvin Phillips, Declan Rice, I thought was outstanding in the final. We've had a lot of players who've stepped up to the plate, and that's what I'm saying. Like, there's plenty of things to be positive about, and I think we need to focus on that. But I did feel we need to touch on the negatives, obviously the aftermath, because it is disgusting. But it is not all England fans, and I think that's a big part of it, isn't it? It's not a reflection of us all. We need to all move together in the right direction. But until something's done about it, we're going to keep having these conversations, as mentioned earlier. But obviously, Euros are out the way. International football's out the way. We can start to actually think about United now. Transfers talk, and Kendall can start to think about Steve Bruce's Newcastle United as well, which I guess you're looking forward to. But looking ahead to United, Nat, how are you feeling, like, on the whole? Because obviously our mind's been on England. Now we switch it back to United. Leeds' first game of the season. Do you think we're going to have many signings before then?
Well, Sancho's done. We're just waiting on whatever, medical and all that. I'm hearing Varane has said, you know, he wants to come, but that's one that's I'm a bit like, oh, because I mean, a couple of years ago I wanted him, and you know, obviously he went Real Madrid, and now it's looking like he might be joining Manchester United. I mean, that'll be a great signing. Him and Maguire, it'd be amazing. But like, I mean, let's not rule out Victor. I think he had a really good tournament as well, and I think he did well towards the end. So just adding that competition there, we need it. We need those levels, I think, in the squad. And then there's I'm not really well good at his name, but the guy from Reigns, begins with C.
Camavinga.
Yeah, I can't say his name. Sorry, but you know that's the level that we're looking at. It actually looks like we're doing things quite seriously, trying to do them quite early, which is only a good thing that we want to see from Man United.
Completely agree. I'm Blue said justice for Denmark. Donnarumma, player of the tournament, was the reason Italy got to the final and won it. Hashtag Maguire gang. Yeah, Kendall, we call Meg because Meg's a centre back, so we call her Maguire. Maguire. But yeah, Maguire gang indeed. And Donnarumma, I think a lot of people begrudging him for that, but I think he deserves it. Obviously, the goalkeeper of the winning team, and he's made some great saves throughout the tournament, and his penalty shootout saves as well. It's hard to argue with that, really. It's justice for Denmark there. I know Blue was feeling very, very aggrieved after that Denmark game, understandably so. But it is what it is. I think Denmark had a fantastic tournament. I think they did. Eriksen played, the country played, and definitely can hold their heads up high. And I think this Euros was a fantastic tournament in general as well. I think it was a really good tournament to watch. Obviously, just a disappointing end for us England fans. But Kendall, Newcastle, obviously Steve Bruce still in charge. How are you feeling going into this new season? Can you see many changes, any transfers?
Do you know what? The Euros was a very welcome distraction, to be honest. I was like, okay. After yesterday, I thought, here we go again. I'm going to go back to the norm. Nothing from our end yet. We've a couple of players have signed new deals, which I'm not entirely overwhelmed about, i.e. Dwight Gale. I don't even really know why he signed another new contract, but here we are. Obviously, my main focus will be trying to get Willock back, but the way Arsenal are looking at the moment, they're kind of getting rid of a couple of midfielders, so don't know whether that's going to be an option. If we are going to get anybody, I think it's going to be another case of a couple of maybe free agents, like Jethro Willems, who might come back. He's free this summer. Same as Valentino Lazaro, who we saw a little bit of in the tournament as well. But yeah, I don't think we're going to do anything of note, to be honest. If we do, I'll be very, 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 very shocked. But yeah, it's just another typical summer transfer window for us.
Right, well, I'm being optimistic for you, Kendall. I'm going to say I hope that Newcastle signs some players. Apparently, Kendall, Newcastle won that finish from Liverpool. I don't know if there's any truth in that. Doug obviously is normally quite clued up to transfers and rumours that are going on. But yeah, Newcastle season, obviously last season, I've said I feel sorry for Newcastle fans genuinely because they're a massive club, great fan base, great stadium. And it almost seems like a ticking time bomb, like you're just waiting for the day to get relegated again before you're actually going to change anything. And it's frustrating for me, and I'm not even a Newcastle fan, so I do feel for you. And I am hoping that they invest. I thought Willock was a great little nifty loan last season. It's a shame that obviously you haven't kept him on. But I think signings like that were clever last season. Obviously, St. Maximum, I think, is fantastic. Wilson got injured, which is unfortunate. But I think if you can keep players like that fit, then I think you stand in good stead for this season. But that's a big thing because last season obviously had a lot of injuries as well as not the quality personnel that you needed.
Totally agree, but I hope I take your optimism, honestly. I will need that optimism. I hope it works.
Not against us, though. Not against us, but everyone else. Yeah, it's fine. Meg, how are you feeling? Obviously now the Euros are out the way, looking ahead to United. Rumours about Varane, like Nat said. How are you feeling going into the new season?
I mean, if we're just going to talk about the men's team for a second, because I think Nat will back me up on the women's team, and for going to the men's team, listen, I'm excited. Manchester City won it last season, and we're best of the rest. But we were up there for a time period. We were with them, and I think we were always kind of knew we were a few players short. The likes of Sancho coming in already, and I've always said I do feel that Rashford will go and get his surgery now, and I almost hope that he gets it now rather than dragging it through and continuing to play with a knock. I think we all said last season we didn't quite get 100% out of him, but yet his stats were amazing, and at times he really pushed Manchester United forward. So imagine if we had him at 100%. We've still got Cavani in there. Pogba, I think, had a great tournament, although it was very short in terms of what we expected him to have. Had a great tournament at Euros. So the likes of him coming back, you've already mentioned Lindelof as well. Maguire and Shaw had a great tournament as well. So I hope these players get an opportunity to have a rest, recuperate, and bring what they finished this season off with back into this new season, because I'm excited as a Manchester United fan going forward and looking into the next season. I can't say the same about what I'm hearing about the women's right now. There isn't really anything to be excited about at all. And it's starting to get to that point where I am starting to get a little bit nervous. 2 weeks ago I said I wasn't, but we're 2 weeks later and still in the same position. I said this 2 weeks ago, we need to now start putting things into place ready for the next season, because everyone is announcing players' retained list or where they've gone on to next, or new coaches, managers. We're still in this exact same position as we were, and we've not moved anywhere. And it could be another 2 weeks, and that's therefore 4 weeks in total since we first spoke about it as to leading up to this season.
It seems like it's going to be a bit of a panic.
We need something, and otherwise we're going to end up with like a Fellaini last-minute signing panic buy.
Well, I'm available. I'm sure Maguire's available. Just saying, all ladies in red come and play. So. Yeah, no, you're all right. It seems a bit of a shambles what's going on with the ladies team. Obviously, we're talking about that the men's transfers. We seem to be doing a lot faster and whatnot, but unfortunately, the women's side of things just seems an absolute mess. Obviously, the players are speaking out about it and whatnot as well, but I'm just hoping that we find a solution very, very soon. Like Meg said, I think we need to prepare for the season. We had a good season last season. Injuries kind of ruined us, but on the whole, positives. And then obviously what's happened with Casey Stoney and whatnot, it just feels like we've not recovered from that. And
what a shame! What a shame!
Yeah,
where we were
such a positive thing built, wasn't it? Like, it's frustrating.
They've shown themselves. It's chalk and cheese. Look how they've suddenly put all that effort into the men's team, and we're all happy. Sancho, Varane, we look like we could potentially win the league, and the women's team is so close. The same sort of situation where they only needed 1 or 2, and it's just I don't know. I don't want to say falling apart, but it's not the same. Yeah. Like 2 different teams, but we're all under Man United, and they're treating them different. I don't know.
Yeah, no, it's disappointing. That, like I said, I hope they come up with a solution sooner rather than later, but it doesn't seem like there's a clear plan there. Worrying times, definitely.
Players that are still
no, it's not.
Completely unfair on them. And I think where else they hadn't have gone to the PFA, now that they are, that's when you know things are starting to get bad.
Yeah.
They're obviously not being communicated to in terms of what their plan of action is, and that's where it's concerning.
I agree. Lawbreak said we need the ladies to watch along for every match in the season. We will do our best to give as many watch alongs as we can. We enjoyed doing them obviously throughout the Euros and whatnot as well. So we will do our best to get some watch alongs going. That would definitely be interesting. Thank you for the contribution.
Might be able to film together at one point now.
Yes.
Who
definitely.
knows? Once we can all set it up.
Yes, and Kanuna Kainen, I've got that to a T now, I think. Pronouncing that, I've got it to a T. Thank you so much for the contribution. He said, describe Mike Ashley using 5 words, Kendall. Putting you on the spot there a little bit, but can you think of 5 words?
I don't need one. I don't need 5. I just need 1. Villain. That's all I can say about him. He's the villain.
That was polite, Kendall.
That was kind. That was kind, polite, yeah.
We know we're on a family show.
But yeah, I'm going to say I don't think you need 5 words. I mean, even me as a United fan, I think I could think of a few.
I can think of one I would call him, but yeah, as you said, family show.
Family show. Keep it clean. I'm Blue. Thank you so much for the super chat. He said the Longstaff twins and Messi is going to be the next MSM. He says that would be nice, wouldn't it? That would be nice. Messi, get him from Barcelona.
I'd be thinking I was an alternate universe, or at least probably a coma if that ever happens. So yeah,
he's a free agent now, so anyone can go.
Probably worth more than my entire club, but it is what it is.
It's like shirt sales will cover it. Don't worry about it. It's fine. Shirt sales will cover it. Mad. Girls, this has been a fantastic show. I want to say thank you to everybody in the chat. You've been superb. Positive vibes, like we say. We're all disappointed and deflated, but there is plenty to be positive about, definitely. And the fans that you've seen on social media with all the negative behaviour do not define England fans. It's not all England fans, it's a minority. And we need to shut that minority up, quite frankly. It's just disgusting. It's not good enough. It's been an absolute pleasure, Kendall. Thank you so much for taking the time to join us. I hope you've enjoyed it. And please, obviously, let people know where they can find you as well on social media.
Yeah, no, always enjoy it. Absolutely loved it. Thank you for having me, girls, again. If you want to just check me out, it's obviously Kendall Rowan. I always point it the wrong side because it's like reflected. Kendall Rowan's all my socials.
Don't worry about that. We're in a good group here.
I'm always like pointing the wrong way. It's always the wrong way. If you just search Kendall Rowan, you'll find me Twitter, Instagram, YouTube. Obviously, as well, I am over on the football terrace most of the time, so you will catch me there as well.
Brilliant. Thank you again, Kendall. Make sure you check out Kendall's content. Obviously, just some amazing videos, great opinions. Lots of rattle people with your tweets as well. I've noticed lately. Lot of stirring going on, but it's all good. Love
Clearly,
it.
clearly, everyone can just tell I'm jobless at the moment. So like, that's all I'm doing. That's just my job to rattle people on too at the moment.
Love it. You get plenty of points for that. That's what it's all about. So, Nat, thank you again. Absolute pleasure to get you on. I know you was on a show just before it as well, so I appreciate you taking the time to come and join us over on here. Obviously, let people know about your articles that you've been writing and let people know where they can find you as well.
Yeah, Natalie_17. Look, I just got it right. Yeah, I write for the
Show off.
I write it for the United Journal. So yeah, I've done an article about the players going to the PFA and the 2 athletic articles. I'm on a show with John Foster, MUFC, All for United Women channel. So we basically talk about the women's team every day nearly now. So definitely check that out if you want to get more detail and more up to date about women's football. I'd recommend everyone coming and watching that.
Yeah, definitely go and check out that 100%, especially women's football, the way it's going at the minute. It'd be nice to see if there's any changes and hopefully some positives to talk about. And as always, the lovely Meg, thank you so much for joining us yet again. Let people know where they can find you. Do your little pointing thing that Curlers always says.
It's over here somewhere. I don't know. No, there is it. It's at the bottom of the screen here. At Meg McCann. I can't believe it's the end of the Eurovision for us so far. Little section of videos. But what I will say, there's only 497 days until the World Cup, until it comes back home again. So get planning 497 days to think of a pun for the World Cup. But my final note is full credit and recognition to those England players. Yep. I have thoroughly enjoyed myself over the last 4 weeks watching them, being together with my family and my friends, getting everyone back together, being online and seeing everyone having fun and enjoying it with bucket hats on and retro shirts. It's been a blast. There it is. Oh, she's got a bucket hat. The year of the bucket hat. I've thoroughly enjoyed myself watching England, and like I said, 497 days until it comes back home again. I can't wait.
Stop saying it's coming on, Meg. It's banned. I told you it's banned. We're gonna get a bleep. We're gonna get a bleep every time. Guys, I'm going to get you know as well. Obviously, just show the bucket hat. I've already mentioned it before. It's just completely up to you. No pressure to buy anything, but there is a Ladies in Red merch shop. Obviously, link is in description. Link is on our Twitter as well. Real Ladies in Red. But go and have a look at it. Let us know what you think. Yeah, I appreciate any feedback. Like I say, no pressure to buy anything. And like I say, it's been an absolute pleasure. We'll get Kendall on definitely in the run up to the season. Hopefully, Newcastle have signed Messi by then. We'll see what happens. But it's been a fantastic show. Thank you. I'd rather him go there than City. I'm going to say that. I'd rather him go there than City.
Yeah.
But Kendall's like, all right then.
Yeah. Messi or Mbappe, I'm not picky. Either or. I'll do.
Bring them both. That's what you want.
Easily pleased, Kendall. Easily pleased. Guys, thank you so much in the chat. Hit a like on the video. Make sure you follow all the girls on socials. If we have missed your comments, just drop a comment afterwards. Me and Meg always check back and see if anyone's commented. Yeah, guys, hit that sub button. 15k on the road to 20k. So keep hitting the sub button and sharing the videos. We'd appreciate it. Until next time, take care and we'll see you soon.